Hey there, today I will be sharing 5 new family dinners with you that you can make for only about $5 each. These dinners are very budget friendly today, but they do not taste that way. Let's go get to the grocery store and let's go pick up our groceries. These are the items that I will be buying today to stay right in my budget. First, I'm going to be heading down the egg area and I'm going to be picking up a dozen eggs. Next, I'm going to be grabbing a pound of sausage. I'm actually going to be using this 1 pound of sausage in 2 different recipes that I have in mind, so I'm really excited about that. Also, ham is a high protein meat that you could buy for an affordable price. Also, ham adds a lot of flavor to food, so I picked up these ham steaks. They come in a pack of 2. Now I'll be grabbing a pound of mixed dry beans, and as you could see, the Cajun bag of beans is 36 cents cheaper than the regular ones. The only difference is the seasoning packet inside, so I grabbed the Cajun ones. I really scored this week because the elbow pasta was on sale, so I put that in my cart. Also, I could never find jarred pasta sauce for under $2, but if you look at the top shelf, you will see a can of pasta sauce for a little over $1. This pasta sauce tastes just as good, but it is super affordable. Next, I also need a can of tomato paste, and then I also need a can of diced tomatoes, and I'll be picking up the can of diced tomatoes today with garlic and olive oil. That just adds quite a bit of flavor, and I just think that can's really good. These bouillon cubes add great flavor for a low cost. I'll be adding about a bouillon cube to just about every recipe, but not all of the recipes. I'll also be adding 2 cans of chili beans to my cart, followed by a can of potatoes, and do not knock these canned potatoes until you try this recipe that I am making. Now we're going to be going down the frozen vegetable aisle, and I'll be grabbing a bag of mixed vegetables. I'll also be grabbing a bag of frozen kale. I normally buy frozen bags of spinach, but kale is in budget for today. Also, kale provides more calcium and vitamin C per serving than spinach, so that's just why I grabbed kale today. I made my way over to the produce area and I picked up a green bell pepper. Next, I grabbed a white onion. Let's check out and then let's head back to my house and let's get to cooking this week. I'm starting this week out by making these ham and beans. It just sounds really good to me, so I'm going to begin this recipe by cubing my ham steak into smaller pieces. This ham steak, it comes with 2 ham steaks, of course, but I just cut them into smaller pieces. Next, I'm going to dice a quarter of our onion, so I'm just using a small part of that onion. Now I'm going to rinse half of the bag of the beans. I'm only using half the bag of the beans. I'm using the other half for another recipe, but just look through these beans, and if you find any like smaller rocks or like dirt pieces, just remove them. Now over to a large pot on the stove, I'm going to add my beans right in there. Next, you're going to add that onion and the ham in there along with the beans. And then for the water, I am adding in 10 cups of water. Then I'm also going to add in 2 bouillon cubes and half of the seasoning packet that came with the beans. Just give this a stir and let this simmer on your stove for about 2.5 hours or until the beans are tender. You do want to stir this occasionally while it's simmering, just so the beans don't burn to the bottom of the pot. And if the liquid line gets too low, add about a cup of water in at a time until the beans are tender. Here's my bowl of food. This is really good and flavorful. It has a nice Cajun taste about it, but if you're not a Cajun fan, you could always opt for the other beans and just pay a little bit more money, but this is really high protein and my entire family loved this dinner. Now we're making this mixed bean hash, so into this big pot on my stove, I'm adding the remaining beans. I just rinsed the beans and cleaned them off. You're also going to be adding the remaining seasoning packet, just in that little packet that came with the beans. Also add in 1 bouillon cube, and you're going to toss in 9 cups of water. Give this a really good stir and let this simmer covered for about 2.5 hours. Stir it occasionally while it's simmering, and you do want to add more water in if the liquid line gets too low while it is simmering. But once the cooking time is almost up, I am just going to cube my potatoes. I like these canned whole potatoes over the canned diced potatoes. I just think these have better structure and they taste better. Of course, that's just my opinion though. Also, canned potatoes are great because they're affordable. You don't have to worry about peeling potatoes because they're already peeled, and they're also already partially cooked, so you don't have to really worry about cooking them for a long period of time. But over to my tender beans, I'm just adding those potatoes right in there. You're also going to add in half of the bag of frozen mixed vegetables, add in the whole bag of kale and about a cup and a half more water. Give this a stir and let this cook covered for about 10 minutes or until everything is nice and simmering and hot. This dinner is a meatless meal, but you can't even tell it's a meatless meal because it is so high in protein from all of the beans and the vegetables. Also, this is super nutrient rich. It has a ton of kale and different vitamins in it. So if you are looking for a great affordable meatless meal, this one's for you. Now we're making this classic easy goulash, so over to my pot on the stove, I'm adding in half of our sausage. I'm going to be using the other half of sausage for another recipe. Next, add in a quarter of our onion that you diced, break the sausage up and cook it through. Once your sausage is cooked through, just add in 8 ounces of elbow pasta. It's just half of this 16-ounce box. Now I'm going to add in the remaining bag of frozen mixed vegetables along with 2 bouillon cubes. Also add in 5 cups of water, and then you're going to add in the can of pasta sauce. Next, add in half of the can of tomato paste and give this a good stir. And once this starts to simmer, you're going to want to add in your seasoning. So add in a half a tablespoon of brown sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of pepper, 2 teaspoons of dried oregano, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, and a teaspoon of Italian seasoning. Or you could use any type of seasonings that you like. Let this simmer on your stove for about 12 minutes. Stir it often just so the pasta doesn't burn to the bottom of the pot, and if the liquid line gets too low, just add in some water until your pasta is tender. I had Parmesan cheese in the fridge, so we sprinkled the top of ours with Parmesan cheese, but you certainly do not have to do that. This is so rich and flavorful. It does not taste like you're trying to be on such a budget. That's what I really like about this goulash, and it's really simple to throw together. I need to make breakfast for dinner more often. It's normally affordable and just really good. So to the pan on my stove, I added in a tablespoon of olive oil. Now I'm adding in a quarter of our onion along with the diced bell pepper. I'm going to cook these 2 peppers and onions together for a couple of minutes. Now I'm going to add in the other half a pound of the sausage. Just break the sausage up and cook it through. While our sausage is cooking away, I am going to get started on the eggs now. So over to this large bowl, I'm going to add 12 eggs right in there. Whisk the eggs up to break the yolks, and then you're going to want to add in either a half a cup of water or milk. Since I didn't buy milk at the store, I'm just adding in water. If you didn't know that, you could do that with your eggs. I'm also seasoning them with a dash of salt, pepper, and paprika, but use any seasonings that you love. Give this a whisk and then pull out a 9x13 baking dish. You're going to want to spray that baking dish with nonstick spray just for easy cleanup in the end. Pour the eggs right in there, and then you are going to sprinkle the sausage onion pepper mixture all over the top and then kind of spread it out. Bake this in a preheated oven to 350 degrees for 30 minutes or until the egg has set. Egg casseroles are great like this because you can make them your own so easily by adding ingredients that your family likes and just making them your own. For example, my husband poured some hot sauce over the top of his dinner, but this is absolutely delicious and very high protein and nutritious. Now I'm going to show you this chili macaroni soup. So to the pot on my stove, I'm adding in a tablespoon of olive oil along with the remaining onion I diced. Cook this together for about 2 minutes to soften the onion. Now add in the remaining tomato paste, and this is a good little trick to get tomato paste out of a can. Just open both sides and push it through. Stir this around and let the tomato paste cook for a couple minutes. This will bring out the flavor of the tomato paste. Then add in the diced tomatoes, your 2 cans of chili beans. Make sure you don't drain your chili beans. Now add in the remaining 8 ounces of elbow pasta along with 1 bouillon cube. Now add in 4 cups of water, and then for the seasonings, this gives it a lot of flavor. A half a tablespoon of brown sugar, 2 teaspoons of chili powder, 1 teaspoon of cumin, a teaspoon of salt, teaspoon of pepper, and a teaspoon of dried oregano. Give this a stir and let this simmer for about 12 minutes, stirring occasionally until the pasta is tender. Once the pasta is tender, you could serve this up. Here is my bowl of food. We topped ours with a little bit of shredded cheese and sour cream, kind of as you would for like chili, but top yours with anything that you have on hand or enjoy. This is full of so much immense flavor. I really know you're going to like this one. You guys, my cookbooks are selling so fast. They are the most perfect holiday gift, so make sure you grab one. Bye for now.